We'd like to discuss a recent video put out called In Search of Flat Earth by a channel named Folding Ideas. We mainly want to talk about his lake experiments. We'll first play a short clip from the video and then go over it.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that an obscure flat Earth video is still under your skin after several years. What do? Well, obviously, you throw a bunch of gear into the car, drive out to the mountains, set up on the side of the lake, and spend an hour aiming at a tree on the far shore, keeping in mind that if you want to persuade flat earthers, then you need to eliminate as much ambiguity as possible. So make sure to include an identifiable landmark in the shots to make it easy to pinpoint exactly where you're standing and where you're looking. Everything gets documented. Where was the camera sitting on the beach? Approximately how high above the surface? Even screen caps of where GPS says you're standing. You get the footage home, import it, tweak the scale to make sure that objects are the same size on screen, and line it all up with a unified horizon. There you go. The tree disappears below the horizon of the lake. Easy. The Earth is round. Yeah, but if I were into flat Earth, you know what I'd point out? That last frame, the one that's right above the surface of the water, it's really hazy, because it turns out that on a 30-degree day, there's going to be a lot of vapor coming off the surface of the lake, and at water level, you're trying to look straight through 7 kilometers of the stuff. And having such a stark air temperature gradient right at the surface of the water, it increases atmospheric refraction, resulting in the mirage effect that allows the pebble beach to occasionally be somewhat visible despite intersecting the tree that it's below. So, a flat earther could just dismiss all of this as just heat coming off the water. And the shots are all locked off and disconnected. There's no continuity. Who knows what shenanigans you can get up to when the camera cuts? Plus, look at it, all that straightening and zooming in post. How can anyone trust that the camera is set to what you say it's set to? So, jump back in the car 2 days later when it's partly cloudy and 15 degrees cooler. There's a lot more chop from the wind, but the waves are short. It's still a lake, we're not dealing with big ocean swells. Importantly, there's functionally no visible vapor coming off the surface of the water, and this time you make sure to bring the jibs so you can smoothly go from standing to the surface of the water in a single motion, and...
He goes on to show this tour boat, which is about 10 feet tall, on the lake that is about 4.3 miles across. He maneuvers the camera view from around 5 feet down to about 5 inches. And the boat disappears. Here's the data he provided for his experiments. The lake was 4.34 miles across, his camera height ranged from 5 feet down to 5 inches, and again, the boat was about 10 feet tall. On day 1, the air temperature was 86 degrees Fahrenheit and 59 degrees Fahrenheit on day 2. It would have been helpful to know the water temperature on the 2 days he was out there. We've shown in our observations in much shorter distances of 600 feet and less, how even a slight variation in temperature of the water and the air can drastically warp the view of objects in the distance. Here are 2 days from our observations. This first day, on the left, we have warm air temperatures with cooler water below, and we can see the objects in full from across the 600-foot distance, as we should. Then, on the second day, when we have cooler air temperatures above slightly warmer water, the bottoms of the objects are hidden from view. These are the results we consistently get from multiple observations on various days of the year. Objects are hidden from view unless under certain conditions. And if his footage proves curvature of that lake, then does this footage prove curvature of this pond? This video, by the LifeIs short channel, captures an object disappearing at a distance of only 410 feet. We know that curvature cannot be the cause of obstruction we witness at this distance. There would be only approximately 1/20th of an inch of curvature drop at 410 feet were the Earth a sphere of our given dimensions. Even from half an inch above the surface, the horizon should be over 1,300 feet away, and there should be absolutely no obstruction due to curvature. The following observations are all made on days with an air and water temperature variation of around 5 degrees and less, from a viewing height of approximately 2 inches above the surface, and view objects across small, calm bodies of water of 600 feet or less. We consistently have to raise our viewer height in order to see the objects in full, as the atmosphere typically distorts the objects in our view and causes this apparent obstruction. Folding Ideas video, In Search of Flat Earth, seems to spiral out of control after the lake footage, as he makes a lot of inaccurate generalizations and false accusations of those who question the current globe model. He attempts to persuade his audience into believing that, if you are a flat earther, you're also a religious zealot who buys into a certain political left-right paradigm. In our experience, those who question the globe are the least likely to still be swayed by any sort of political theater. Though we appreciate his willingness to get out and make a couple of observations, we are pretty disappointed with how the whole video turned out. If he were really in search of the truth, he wouldn't settle after only 2 days of observations with completely different results and assume that he's confirmed the Earth to be a sphere of our given dimensions. Were he really in search of the truth, he also wouldn't attempt to lump in the so-called flat earthers with a completely unrelated group of people and say that they all share a certain political ideology. To us, this came across as intentionally misleading. Unlike Folding Ideas, we won't be satisfied with a couple of observations to confirm our beliefs, and we will continue studying our reality, hoping each day to get closer and closer to the truth. See you guys next time.